doing?
Well, yeah, we're doing well. Are we doing well today? Okay. So, how's the weather there?
Beautiful.
Nice. It's supposed to get hot today later, but you know we still got a little bit of that humidity. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think we have that humidity too, right? Anybody notice you don't think it's humid?
That's the only thing that's making it kind of miserable because we usually have a dry heat, but
Nobody
now
thinks it's humid. Okay, good. All right, so how do we create a map? We'll just jump into maps day 2. What we're going to focus on today is a map with 3 layers and putting things on the map because maps are important, right, Tamika?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we create a map? Talk me through it, someone. Okay, Jesse. Go to the 9 square grid. Wait, what happened here?
Okay, you in there. Let me get
Okay, so we go to the 9 square. Let me turn this over. And Tamika, where is the 9 square grid?
It is in the far left corner of the screen.
Thomas, top right corner. Okay,
Oh.
so it's right up here. Imagine this is your screen. That is the apps grid. That's the 9 square colored grid.
Oh, hey, I'm new at this.
How many weeks have you been here?
But I'm looking at
Tell
that right
us.
here, Director.
Okay, 9
now
square
I'm
grid. I apologize. Okay, 9 square grid. So in Google, there's always more than one way to do things. Okay, using the 9 square grid in the upper right corner is the best way to do it. Why? Yeah, because when you do it the way you're doing it, Tamika, you might have another page open up.
Oh, over here. Okay.
Okay, you might have another page open up, but it's going to take whatever your active tab is, it's going to write over that.
Got it.
If you go to the 9 square grid on the right, what's it going to do? It's going to open a new tab for you, okay? So I go to the 9 square grid, then what, Thomas?
Hit Google Maps.
Hit Google Maps, hit where it says Maps.
And it should come up to wherever your location's at.
And so then I'll get something that looks like this. Okay? And right here, it says Larson Training Centers on my map. Does anybody not have that? Doesn't matter whether you do, but in your settings, if you have it configured to know where you are, where your home point is, it will go there. So whenever I just open a map, it's always going to come to here. Okay, now, how do I create a map in California? How do we create a map?
Anybody?
Go to the menu,
Okay, where is menu?
top left on the search bar.
Okay, right. To the left of the search bar, there are 3 parallel bars, right? Does everybody see that? Okay, good. So if you hover over it, a little thing pops up that says menu.
And then go to My Maps.
Okay. Okay, go to My Maps, good.
And then there's a little pencil and it says Create.
Exactly. So that's how we create a map. Now, this way to do this is very complementary to the way you create other things in Google. They try to make it very simple how to create stuff. It's not exactly the same as creating a document, but it's pretty much the same process. You go to whatever the menu thing is, and then they make it obvious for you on how to create something. So let's create a map. And when we create a map, does your guys have a black ribbon across the top like
Yeah.
mine? Look at the screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. How do we navigate to Las Vegas? Basic navigation question. How do we navigate to Las Vegas?
I go on Facebook.
Okay, that's one way. How do we do it if we just want to deal with the map and the mouse? Okay, so if I put my pointer over Las Vegas and I scroll in, what's it going to do?
You mean over Nevada Drive or over Las Vegas?
Over where it says Las Vegas. It'll scroll, it'll zoom in on that point. So if I have the whole United States
Right.
and I zoomed in on Los Angeles, what's going to happen? Yeah. And I didn't have to do anything to the screen, right? I started with my map in the center. I picked a point on the map. I put my pointer over that map, and I just used the wheel, scroll wheel, and I scrolled in. Okay, now let's say I scroll in on Las Vegas, and oops, I wasn't exactly precise, and I don't see Las Vegas on this map. I see it's over here underneath this. How do I move the map?
Click on it and drag it.
Okay, so right, exactly. So I left click anywhere on the map, and you'll see my hand on the map turns into a fist. That means I grabbed it. And then I can just drag the map to wherever I want. Okay? And then I could zoom in again. How else can I zoom in on the map? Okay, so where is that? The lower right corner. So right, there's a zoom button, zoom in, zoom out, lower right hand corner screen. The lower right hand corner of your screen, there's a plus minus. Okay, so that's basic navigation. Now, let's pay attention to the box that opened up in the upper left-hand corner. What is the map called? Untitled map. So what is best practices? What do we do first in Google where we have something that says untitled? Create a title, right. How do we create a title?
Click under.
Click under, click on it, and then what happens?
Takes you to edit.
A box opens up, it says edit, title, and description, and I put in my map title. Okay? So how would I want to describe this map? This is my personal map. Huh? Okay. So I don't think you need to put in personal. I think you should just either put in your first name, last initial, map. Okay, and thinking ahead, this could be important for Friday, when you might have to share it. So if you just call it my map, when I go to look at it, what am I going to see? It's going to, well, it'll be hard for me to do it. It won't be obvious. I'll have to do another thing to see whose my map is this. And in the future, 5 years from now, you probably aren't going to remember, when you see a thing that says my map, you're probably not going to remember what that map was. Okay, but if it says your name, map, you might think, oh yeah, that was the map I created for this. But a map called my map is not really good, or untitled map is really bad, because it's so easy to create maps in Google. You will have a number of maps that are called untitled map. You're going to want to open them, See if they have any value. If they don't, delete them. Okay, so yeah.
Would it be okay, like, as in the description area, but it would actually be made that map more?
Yeah, you should, but you only see that once you have the map open. But it's a good thing to do. It's a good habit to get into. So I called my map director August 2015. Okay, why did I do that?
To identify it later.
Okay, so I called it map to make it easy to search for maps. First of all, that's why the first thing I called it was map. Then I have my name as the second thing. And then I have the date, because every 4 times a year at least, I go through this exercise and I create another map. It's the same thing. So then I save it. And how do I know that the map has been saved? Yeah, because in where it used to say untitled map, it now says the title of the map. Okay, what is the next thing we want to do?
Add a layer.
Add a layer.
Well, we don't want to add a layer. That's the second thing. The first thing we want to do is we have a layer called what? Called untitled layer. So now we want to do the same thing.
Yeah,
And for our exercise today, we're going to have 3 layers, right? What are the layers? Okay, so I'll call this one personal. Okay. Get where? No, below that it says untitled layer. Click on untitled layer. Okay, and then you do what? What do you do when you click on entitled layer? Yeah, you name it. So I named this one personal. Now, what else? What do I do next to add a layer?
Hit add layer.
Hit add layer. Right. So you see how easy this Google stuff is. It's not if you just go with the flow. Now, but it says untitled layer. I don't want it to say untitled layer. I want it to say school. Okay, so I click on that, type in school. And now I need another layer, so what do I do? Add a layer. Click on untitled layer, and I'm going to call that work. Call it that.
This is easier than when we learned it the first time.
Yeah.
Good. So now, when I look at the drop-down box, it has the name of the layer, right? It has a check mark next to the layer. And then it says, what does it say in blue? Import. What does that mean? What does import mean?
With a file, and download
Right. So one of the great things about Google now, Google Maps now, I don't think it was last year at this time, but they make it very easy to import data from like spreadsheets. Okay, so you could get a spreadsheet from somebody, a database, like i.e. it might have been collected by a form. So you can have a form. And what does a form do? What does a form do?
Inputs information.
Yeah, so a form is a way to get information from people, right? We studied this a couple weeks ago. And what does the form export to? Yeah, a sheet. Okay? From that sheet, what can we do? Okay, we can import it to a map. So let's use an example, say the Italian American Club. We have a form for people to sign up, an enrollment form for people to sign up for the Italian American Club. And it might have 26 columns on it. When somebody fills out the form and they click submit, where does that information go?
To the database for talk to me.
Yeah, it creates a spreadsheet, which is a database that looks like a spreadsheet. And at that point, if we're going to import it into a map, we delete all of the columns that we don't need. So what columns would we want to keep on our map, or for the map?
Name and address.
Name, address, city, state, zip, phone, email, membership number maybe, whatever. And then we can save it as a particular type of file. And then we go to map, we create a map. Let's say it's the Italian American Club map. We could have one layer called what? Members. Called members, right? And we would then import that into our map on that layer. So all of a sudden there'd be almost 700 dots on the map. Now what would we use that for management-wise? A ciao tutti. Okay. Distributors. Okay, so ciao tutti, why would we want to see a map that has where our members live? Okay, so that might have been what Julie meant when she said distributors. So we can find places near them where they live that they can go get the map. Or not the map, the magazine, right? Or what if we want to sell advertising? How would we use a map that has 700 dots on it if we want to go get advertisers? We look for locations near where the people are. So if we have a map that has dots over here, what do we say to advertisers over here? And let's say this is 10 miles.
We have a lot of
Is that good or bad? No, it's bad. We want to find advertisers that are inside of here, right? So if we go to an advertiser, we could say, here's how many customers we have here, near you. They could come to your restaurant every month. If we have 100 people, let's just do some math. Let's say it's 100 people times $30. Okay, 3,000 times 4 times a year is how much? $12,000. We say to an advertiser, how much would you pay to get $12,000 worth of business? How much is it worth to you? What do you think somebody would say? Nothing? To pay $12,000 to get $12,000 worth of business, that's a good deal? Huh? Well,
How much are you asking for?
Right, like, what are you asking?
well, that's the point is, so that's the point. How much could we ask the person so we can make business decisions? We've got 100 customers that could go. We have 100 people that could go to dinner there once a month. Because our members go to dinner once a week. They could go there once a month. They're more likely to go here than here, right? Unless this is really special. They're more likely to go there. So 4 times a year, not once a month. So 4 times a year, that would be worth $12,000 in business. How much would they pay for $12,000 in business? Would they pay 10%? I don't know, but they should, because a lot of places give 10% discounts, right? Isn't that the same? Isn't 10% 10%? If you go spend $30 and they give you 10% discount, isn't that the same? Wouldn't George say 10% is 10%? Okay, so that would mean $1,200 or $100 a month, right? But it could be worth more than that, because what if they brought another couple whenever they went out to dinner? So it wasn't really 100 people times 30, it was 100 times 4. So we come down here that means it would be worth $400 a month, right? We know that from George. If we increase this side by 4, then we have to increase that side by 4. So it would be worth that. So that's a way a map can come in handy, but that's the import function. Otherwise, how do we add all of our Italian American Club members to the map? Well, we have it on a different spreadsheet. If we can't import it, what do we have to do? Yeah, the old-fashioned way, manually, by hand. So one of the good things Google has done in the last year is they've made it easier and more obvious to import things. So we're spending a little bit of time talking about this because the general thing people think of when they add to a map is doing it one thing at a time. Some things you can do manually in Google and it's very fast. Other things are not fast. So let's do a thing that's fast, because we just talked about something that wasn't fast. Let's now do something that is fast. So go on your map, go to your work level. So uncheck personal and school, okay? When you're adding things to a map, it's going to add to the map that's at the top if you have all 3 of them checked. So if you want to add to a different map, you either have to move the layer, and how do we do that? Huh? Yeah, I thought that this drags and drops. Okay, so you have to deactivate the layers you are not wanting the map to go to. Okay. So, all right, so now in the search bar, let's put in pizza.
We have school in there, right? The layer we're working under.
Well, you should do this under work. Yeah.
Neat.
Okay. So everybody should have, if you make pizza, you should get that has some pizza places listed, right? And over here it's list the names. Did everybody see that? If you type pizza in the search box
And then push search.
and push on the magnifying glass, then your map will list some pizza parlors, pizza places, and box on the left will have things. Now, how do we add these to our map? Let's say we want to add Metro Pizza to the map. What do we do? Okay, so I click over on the green because I want to just add Metro Pizza. On my map, it just has balloons. So I click Metro Pizza, and it shows me Metro Pizza on the map. Okay, so I now have Metro Pizza selected. How do I add it to the map?
Add tab.
Click the green what? Nope.
In the box.
I click that says add to map. Now what happens? It turns red, and what happens over on the left side of the page?
It added it to your employment class layer.
Whatever layer I had selected, it added it to that. That's right. So this is a quick way to add a lot of locations if there's some way you can search and have them all pop up. So now let's say I want to have barber shops. Okay. I do the same thing. I select it. I add it to the map. But what did it do that I don't want to do over on the left? It's the same color and shape. So is that going to be good for me if I have a map and all of the things are the same color? No. So how do I change the color? So I hover over where it says the name of the barber shop. A little paint bucket pops up. And I see I can change the color. And I can also change the shape. And that's what I do. So this is an easy way to start adding a lot of things to the map.
Actually, I'm hovering over it, but it doesn't give me the option for the box.
Well, you have to click on it.
Oh, click on it first.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have to.
So you select the location. It's on your map. Now it's on your layer. If you hover over the name, the paintbrush, the paint bucket pops up. You click on that and you can change things from there. So here's one of the beautiful things about Google Maps. One of the many good things about Google Maps is you can have multiple layers, but you can also have multiple images or shapes on each layer. Okay? So you don't have to have either this layer is all green balloons, this layer is red balloons. You could have green balloons and red balloons in the same layer if you want. Uh-huh. Perfect. Okay. So one way to categorize the colors in terms of time. So Thomas is doing it in terms of, well, here's where they are now. These are people I have already called. These are people I'm going to call. And then, you know, you can put things into terms of their status also, right? They said no. They said yes. They said maybe. So all of these things we do on our layers. So if we wanted to look at our map, we could look at all of the layers at one time. We could look at some of the layers at any given time. And as we look at the layer, they can be classified by different categories. Existing customers, prospective customers, good customers, anything we want we can do. We have multiple ways of classifying our markers on the map. Now, this used to, when you would put in like pizza parlors or barbershops, it would show all of them, have little dots on the page that would have all of them. How do we do that? Menu bar? The search bar? Put a dot?
Dot or the star.
So I say pizza asterisk. What do I do? I type pizza, asterisk. Okay, well, when I do that, I still only come up with about 10.
Mm-hmm. So that way, the ones you like the most, you can give it a different color, different shape, or whatever.
Yeah,
Right? And make them different from the other ones so they all don't look the same.
that's true.
Okay, now, however, if I go to my other map, so I have 2 tabs that have maps on them, right? See that? I have my maps tab that has my name on it. And then I have my original tab that was just maps. So if I go to your maps tab, not the map, but your maps tab, and type pizza
Under our name.
in the search bar,
The one under our name, Director?
no,
Is it where, I want to make sure I know your, where the
okay,
black,
I have a tab that's called Maps, Google Maps. I have a tab that has a red thing, which is the map I just created.
Okay.
I go to the other one, the original map, Google Maps.
okay. I did it a different way, that's the same thing you have on the screen.
And then in the search bar, I put pizza,
But okay, you know where the black strip is, where it says,
black ribbon.
yeah, it says maps under there. I
Okay.
clicked on that, I went
Okay,
that way.
but now do you have 3 tabs that have maps on them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't really want 3 tabs. Okay. But again, you can do things
That's
a lot of
another way
different
I-
ways in Google. Okay. So if I go to my Maps tab, not my personal map, but the Maps tab, and I put in Google Maps, I put in what happens on my screen.
Location.
Yeah, I get all of them. I get a lot of pizza parties. But wait a second, this isn't on my map, so what do I do? Okay, so this is a little bit different than it used to be. So it used to be the box would pop up and say save to map, and it would ask you what map. Now I have a thing that says save.
No, I haven't had it.
So I know there's a way to do it.
All your people. Now that's it.
No, I added one to
So these are all the ones that
I didn't, I don't want to. Yeah, like, just the area.
Go to share or embed map.
No?
I mean, I can look at, if you have a just on the bottom right there, the little arrow from the bottom goes to your,
Okay, so I don't know how to do it now, but I know it can be done. one way to do it, which I don't think is the best way to do it, but I can find a location on the map, on my map of all pizza parlors. I can click on one, right? It opens it up. I could save it just for the hell of it, but I can go over here to where it has the name and select it. So if you look up on the screen, I clicked on Carrabba's, the box popped open here. I randomly clicked on one. I selected left click. I selected it. I right clicked, copy. I went to my map and I pasted it in there. I hit search, pops up, and then I add it to the map. Why did I do it that way? Well, because it did, that location didn't pop up when I typed in pizza the first time. Or if I go back to my map and I type in barbershop, you know, I get a map that has all kinds of barbershops. If I put in barbershop on my map, my personal map, I type in barbershop. How many barbershops pop up? 10. They give you 10. I want to get all barbershops. I don't just want 10 barbershops. I want all barbershops.
So basically, you have to just, just a brief overview, you know, what we kind of doing for the first.
Okay, so if you want to add, so it looks like the default thing in Google now for maps is it's going to give you 10 places. You put in a search, it's going to give you 10 places. And you can easily add those 10 to your map. But if you want to add all of the barbershops to your map, that's not going to do it. Or all the pizza parlors to your map, that's not going to be the best way to do it because it's only going to give you 10. And I didn't spend any time looking to see whether if you put it in again, it gives you a different 10 and then a different 10 and a different 10 and a different 10, or it gives you the same 10. Or it gives you 10 in the area that you have selected. I don't know. I'd play with that. But if I wanted, but as of right now, if I needed to add 100 locations to the map, I would have two maps. One is just a Google map and one is my map. I'd use the Google map, do my search, come up with all of the places, and then I would copy and paste into my personal map. What is an easier way to do that? Not, I don't know how to do it, but what would be an easier way to do it? What's the first thing we said? Would be an easier way to do it. Import. The easier way to do it would be to import. So maybe there's a Google, we could do a Google search that was a spreadsheet of barbershops. So somebody had a spreadsheet online that we could use. If there isn't one today, there will be at some point in the future. So the best thing, so the takeaway, what I want everybody to get, the best thing for maps, the important thing for a map is you got to add data points to your map. So you're going to either add some or you're going to add a lot. If you add a lot, you can either import them or do them one at a time. So we looked at a couple ways of doing them one at a time. Now let's go to another layer and just click on import and see what happens. Okay, so click on import. What happens if you click on import?
You got to import the file from somewhere.
What kind of file?
Take you to the Google Drive.
Right.
So what is a CSV? Huh? Okay, so it stands for comma separated variables or values.
Becky, what did you just tell us to do?
I said click on import. Yeah.
Now that we've like in our employment planning, now like since we added stuff to it, it doesn't have import where import normally is. It's
this?
individual styles.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, another layer.
Like
And then import.
with the employment planning layer,
Mm-hmm.
where normally it would say import, it says since we added stuff to that
Yeah.
layer, it says individual styles. So
Right. So what I said is go to a different layer and push import.
okay, I'm just asking why it does that.
So far, that's as far as we got. You just told us to go to a different.
That's how Google does it. I don't know. That's a mystery.
Another layer. I'll just erase it.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is to import, but I don't know that I can do it while I'm in this Google Hangout, just to show you how easy it is to import. Okay, well, I can't do it right now, but one of the things Google gives you the option of is when you push that import button, you can import from, you can drag a CSV, which is a comma separated value file, which looks like a spreadsheet, or an Excel file, or a KML file, which is something that's created by Maps, or you can go to your Google Drive and do a file right from your Google Drive that's a spreadsheet. So, whenever you do a form, whenever possible, when you do a form, you should figure out a way to do a map to go along with the output of that form. Okay, so if you collect if you have a form that has addresses on it, If you have a form that asks for address, thing you should, by default, do is think in terms of, hey, how about if I create a map, show me where all of these addresses are located. That should just be part of your default setting in the future when you're thinking about maps or when you're thinking about forms. If you're thinking about doing a form and you're going to ask for their name, address, city, state, zip, you should try to have your brain automatically have this light bulb go over your head to say, huh, should I create a map also? Okay?
Yes.
You got any questions?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so we only have a couple minutes. Dennis, what questions can we...
I'm asking now to see if anyone has any questions. So far, no questions. Anybody questions? No. You have questions, Joe?
No,
Okay, anybody here have any questions so far? We're going to go over this again tomorrow.
Oh, okay. We just we were to the point where I think Joe was just trying to import something, but we kind of worked with that. Maybe we'll get into that tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
it's not processed.
Oh, it's just not processing. Same thing that happened with yours.
It said pop-up blocker, enable pop-ups.
No, it's just for the last 20 minutes it said requesting Google Drive access. Please, please enable pop-ups.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you need. I just couldn't find it quick enough over here, but I went into settings on Chrome, which is where it would be if you go to help, set Chrome settings, you can enable pop-ups and then it'll work.
Thank you.
Okay? Good. So let's see, it's just about time. Anybody here have any questions? What you should be able to do as of today is create a map and add layers. Does anybody feel they can't create a map and add layers? Okay, anybody feel they cannot?
Yeah.
Anybody feel they can?
Yeah. It's all the picture, right? It's when you, exactly.
Okay, so it's either you can or can't. How do you create a map? 9 square grid, click on maps. Go to the thing, My Maps, create. You just created a map. It automatically has layers on there. You title the map, create titles for each layer, and then to add to, how do you choose to decide when you want to add to a layer? Let's say it's the second layer. How do you add to that layer?
Check on it and click it.
Yeah, you uncheck the other layers. So it's the only layer that's active on your map. Okay, good. So that's good progress. And we'll pick this up tomorrow. Thank you in California. Thanks for being there, Joe.
Thank you, Ed.
Bye now.
All right.